people like you and other people are going to be listening to Ben Shapiro and listening to other opposing views and that type of thing. But the vast majority aren't listening to him. And it's so, yeah, you can have superheroes on each side, but it's like the Avengers keep collecting people, Black Panther and Captain America, and then they never go fight Thanos. And they're just too busy fighting each other mainly. But there's never a crossing of the guard, really, if you don't sort of go after Thanos. And that's not what really happens. It's just people like Ben Shapiro, White Panther, talks to other evil people and rile them up and say, look at these Avengers. They suck. And then the Avengers are like, hey, Black Panther, hey, what, Thor? Gosh, White Panther sucks. And so no one actually is having a real discourse, political conversations or anything. And so I don't know if again, I agree with you. We need superheroes, but what I hope, and which we do not have, no matter how many superheroes we have, is that Thor is talking to Thanos, and Thanos is talking to Captain America, and until we sort of cross that river, it's just going to be each superhero group becoming stronger and stronger, and maybe resulting to a fight at best, but never any closer access to.
But here's why I disagree.
F you, man.
Because nobody
disagree with the black men.
Nobody is Bernie Sanders like, who is my superhero. My Facebook page again says, if you come to talk smack about Bernie Sanders, you better be a superhero. You better be a 74-year-old superhero from another planet.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Call back.
So call back to somebody. So the problem is I need more Bernie Sanders-like people. But I'm going to go further than this. Let's take it outside the movement. There's too many times in my life where I've seen misbehavior going on, and I always inevitably in every situation tend to be the only one who stands up. And most of the times I probably should have got killed in the situation where I stood up, but you got to have more of that, because I've seen too many places where guys are doing it was all guy behavior. I've never had to stand up to a woman and say you're being wrong. It's always been guys, right? It's always I've got some unbelievable stories, but it just happened recently where I had to say to someone, yo, you're being out of control. You got to stop. I'm telling you right now to stop. Nobody else was telling this guy to stand down. And it took me like 3 minutes to go, I'm telling you, stand down. It's time to stand down. You've talked enough. You got your guys. I got mine. Stand down. So my point is Bernie Sanders. Yes, that's my guy. Then I like her. I don't know her whole story. She's close. She's not, I don't really like the fact that she diverted and wants to talk about, throw Chris Collins out there. I'm not happy with that particularly. I don't think that's Bernie Sanders-like method. I don't think that's the way he plays strategically. I don't think he would have done that in that context, right? He would have been like, "Can we just talk about the issues? I don't want to talk about Chris Collins. I want to talk about, he would have brought it back." So, that's not she's not completely
Bernie Sanders.
And that's why we need more people besides Jimmy Dore, who does a great job, but you need to have more people who are covering all the different things that are occurring. And we don't have enough, and we've never had it. If you look through the course of every time I
our history
say something. No, I'm saying I want to say left and progressive, and I look at you, I'm like, I'm not allowed to say those words because Curtis doesn't like them. But when you look at left broadcasting or progressive broadcasting, I don't have any particular heroes or particular people that I would say, oh, they were great at what they did. Dore is very good. He's very smart. I love his passion. I love his speed. I love what he does. But it's not enough. It's not enough. We don't have enough. When we have a Bernie Sanders and we have a Ocasio-Cortez. I couldn't tell you 10 progressive candidates right now that I'm like, wow, these guys are really good. I'm really in love with them. I couldn't. Now, again, I'm not in the movement, but I couldn't tell you what's going on. And I think that's an issue. You need to have a platform where people can come and see this person, right? So we need a channel where everybody goes, oh, they're going to have so-and-so on tonight. This guy's really good. He's got his act together, and everybody tunes in and watch. I'm watching Rogan and Dorr. I'm watching Conor McGregor highlight videos. I have nowhere to go. So that's when I see a guy like Ben Shapiro, who is obviously it's a bait. I say, hey, I want to step up. I want to be that guy. Because here's the thing with Ben Shapiro: if me and Ben were in the same room,
it's a mass debate.
Well, I know, but if I'm in the room with Ben Shapiro,
a bunch of people jerking each other off, basically, and anyway.
No, but it can't be like that, Curtis, because Ben's got to stand down, and you've got to be in the same room, and you go, Ben. First of all, what you just said was sexist. Second of all, what you said, it's rude. I agree. She's actually a brilliant woman.
In the same room.
You know what, bro? And if you know what, if we were somewhere else, I'd be right in your face. I'd probably have my hands, I'm going to go Alex Jones. I'd probably have my hands on your shirt, and you'd probably be against the wall, and I'd probably be saying, apologize. That's where we'd be, Ben. And guess what you'd be doing? You'd be either crying or apologizing. And that's what we don't have in this movement. Is a guy like Ben Shapiro, he rises up on his little white conservative guys who all talk like this and think they're so damn intelligent and and say brutal.
I can only handle you doing that for 30 seconds.
He's so tight. That guy's so conservative. He certainly is. He definitely has the voice.
I mean, I'm not voice shaming. I'm wondering how a woman would find that attractive, because he's like married with kids, but I digress.
Oh,
Isn't he?
We'd have to do the Ben Shapiro wiki page.
He's just off. I'm not a fan of partisan stuff. I'm just talking like I'm being a rude, mean bully.
And I get that. But I'm just telling.
Yeah, off-putting.
Yeah, and someone has to at least deconstruct that in a popular way and put it out there and come back to him. And I know people do it. The Young Turks do it. They do it
asking her questions with their lipstick and her hair. Yeah, really? Those are the questions that she gets. Really?
Really? Can I have that clip? Could you send me that clip where they ask about the lipstick and the hair?
Right.
Or is that in your little conservative Pornhub world? You fucking little.
Well, it's true. I think he's sort of talking to sort of a hidden, embedded attraction to her. She's attractive, intelligent. He said that earlier. I think he says he made reference to that earlier. I didn't watch his whole thing, but would I date Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which I'm sure date means another word, in his world. And he said date. I know what that means. Yeah.
And all these other comics in my world. And Joe Rogan had Ben Shapiro on his show and never called him out. Joe ties the line way too close to what I feel is acceptable. And he's like one of the most popular guys. He's driving so many independents to the right side. He always brings over these really not cool. I always say people are really, really brave all the time. But if you were really in front of a UFC fighter and you found out right away he was a UFC fighter, you would you would know, I better shut my mouth or I'm losing a lot of teeth. I'm going to have an arm broken. Something horrible is going to happen to me. So again, a lot of guys very brave, and it just drives me crazy when people allow them to be brave. It's because it's dangerous, it's rude, it's uncalled for, and you at least have to have a rebuttal. Someone has to do it. And I'm not into the Young Turks. Those guys, I don't know, there's something.
Well, Roseanne just tweeted that Ben Shapiro is what happens if the Jewish Brotherhood and a planet of rats had a baby. It's a true story.
Now when did she get funny again? That's very accurate.
Satire alert. Satire alert.
She probably shouldn't put planet in there only because she's damaging herself again.
Yeah,
and of course.
Well, her defense was
he's like a little white rat. He's a little rat. Someone needs to grab that tail. You know what? That's offensive to rats. I apologize.
That's a classic Jewish slur. So that's if we had a sitcom, we would be removed from our own show, and they would call this the Progressives. That's my only.
I can't believe like any woman would let that guy get away with what he just said. I can't believe conservative women vote for Trump. I can't believe conservative women don't lean sometimes and go, wow, our party is really effed up. We really don't take care of people at all.
Of course they voted for Trump. We talked about this last time. He's entertaining and he's, wealthy, successful. He commands a room. He knows how to make fun of people using, grade school insults. That's as much depth as one would require to be entertained enough to vote for Trump. That's what happened. It wasn't a deep embedded philosophy of his politics and everything else. They went through that. They went through the wall. They went through Muslim bans. They went through grabbing by the pussy. They went through all of their conservative religious sort of stomping grounds and said, fuck all that. That's all really bullshit. We like him and we like the way he stands and he seems to command a room. But
also I feel like it's a cultural indoctrination of that Midwest mentality, or
of course, part of it.
And I don't know how that all changes. I told you, we've always talked about that. I don't think it ever will. I think it's always going to be an issue. I think that's the sad part.
Human nature, yeah.
Well, it's the sad part of our country. I mean, again, you look at these Middle Eastern countries and you look at our country, and there's sometimes you can see threads of similarities, where I didn't want to go down that road, but we did. If you want to switch gears, because I know you don't like this type of talk, we can.
It's not true. I don't know where you got that from. I'm highly entertained right now.
We don't like partisan and stuff like that, but we'll just keep chasing our own tails. But
no, it's not. I don't like partisan, but that has no connection to me not discussing. Politics, partisan politics, and what I believe are the impacts. I don't like Ben Shapiro, but talking about him is to me is just as illuminating and entertaining as any other conversation. I'm just saying I wouldn't necessarily want to, hang out with him at a bar for 24 hours, but I would prefer, rather than talking about him, having a beer with him at a bar for 2 hours and talking about these things, because I think it would be, outside of the realm of cameras and everything else, a more accurate, honest conversation. And Jimmy Dore called out Bill Maher, but Bill Maher had Ben Shapiro on his show. What is it? Politically correct? No. What is that? No.
Two douchebags talking between two douchebags.
But at the same time,
you're not going to play that clip because that's painful. You want to talk about painful to watch. You're not. You want to talk complete nonsense, and that's a clip. I watched that clip already because it rolled ass after the other one, and it's hard to stomach. It's really, really hard to stomach.